Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. So far, we have discussed in detail the first four fundamental rights of part 3. They are right to equality, right to freedom, right against exploitation, right to freedom of religion. Now let's move on to our next fundamental right today, that is cultural and educational right. The first thing to think about is that when the Constitution has already given so many rights like equality, prohibition of discrimination, untouchability, titles, equal opportunity, freedom of speech, right to education, freedom of religion, everything, then why there was a need to give cultural and educational right? And what is this right about? Let us first understand why there was a need to introduce this right as a fundamental right. After that, we will talk about its article. This is our country, India. And we all know that India is one of the most diversified country in the whole world. Diversity in religion, culture, language, food, living, and many other things. Where there is so much diversity, some people will be in majority and some people will be in minority. So on what basis do we define majority and minority? Obviously on population basis. People who are more in population comes in majority and those who are less in population comes in minority. In India, minority is commonly considered with respect to two attributes: linguistic and religious minority. This means those who are coming in minority section on the basis of religion and language. Now this fundamental right, that is cultural and educational right, is mainly for minorities. So it is understood that this fundamental right is for minorities. Now let's see how many articles are there in this particular fundamental right and what kind of protection it gives to minorities. Cultural and educational right contains two articles, Article 29 and Article 30. Article 29 talks about protection of interest of minorities and Article 30 talks about right of minorities to establish and administer educational institutions. Today we will understand Article 29 in detail and will cover Article 30 in the next video. As we have just seen, Article 29 talks about protection of interests of minorities. The provisions of this article are defined in two clauses. Let us first read the provisions of both the clauses, then we will understand it one by one. Article 29 Clause 1 says, any section of the citizens residing in the territory of India or any part thereof having a distinct language, script or culture of its own shall have the right to conserve the same. This is what is written in Clause 1 of Article 29. Let us read the second clause, which says, no citizen shall be denied admission into any educational institutions maintained by the state or receiving aid out of state funds on grounds only of religion, race, caste, language, or any of them. Now we have read what is written in these two clauses. Whatever is written is very simple to understand. Article 29 Clause 1 says, any section of citizen, means it is talking about a group of people who live in India or belong to any part of India having a distinct language, script or culture have the right to save or conserve the same. Very simple, nothing much to explain. Let's take some examples so that it becomes more clear to you. As I said, in India, minority is considered with respect to two attributes, religion and language of a person. If we take example of religion, then we can talk about Muslim community. And if we take example of language, then we can talk about Malayalam language. Both comes under minority section in India. and there are many such minorities. So they all have every right to preserve their language, script, and culture. Coming to our second clause, it says, no citizen shall be denied, means it is talking about an individual's right. No person can be denied or stopped from taking admission in such educational institutions which are either fully funded or partially funded by the state on the basis of religion, race, caste, language, or any of them. Did you notice that two grounds are not mentioned here? That is gender and domicile, means your permanent residence. So, does this mean that we can discriminate and deny admission on the basis of gender and domicile? Yes, discrimination can be done on the basis of gender and domicile under this article. Why so? This is because if you see, there are many schools and colleges which are only for girls. Boys cannot be admitted there. So there can be discrimination on the basis of gender. Similarly, there are many such schools and colleges where only the students of the same state are admitted. This means that discrimination can be done on the ground of domicile as well. So we have understood the two clauses of Article 29 in detail. The first one gives every section living in India the right to save their language and culture. And second one gives the right to an individual that the person cannot be denied admission on grounds only of religion, race, caste, and language. Now let's talk about a small conflict in this article. What is that conflict? The conflict is that there is a difference between the main title of Article 29 and the two provisions therein. As you can see in the main title of Article 29, which talks about protection of interest of minorities. But when you read both provisions of this article, you do not see the use of word minority anywhere. In the provision of the first clause, it is written any section of citizens. That means that section can be of minority and can also be of majority. Similarly, in clause 2 also, it is written no citizen shall be denied. That means the person can be of minority and can also be of majority. So why was it done that the article which is meant for the protection of minorities, why is it not only for minorities? Let's understand this with an example. Like I told a while back that Malayalam speaking people comes in minority section. So they have the right that they can preserve their language. But this doesn't mean that Hindi speaking people who are in majority section cannot preserve their language. They also have the right to preserve their language and culture. The purpose of making this article was only that no majority section can suppress the culture and language of any minority section. And for this reason, the word minority has not been defined anywhere in the Constitution. Therefore, in the title of this article, the word minority has been used, but in its main provision, every section and individual has been given the right. That's all it was in Article 29. In the next video, we will understand the next article, that is Article 30, which talks about right of minorities to establish and administer educational institutions.